Welcome back, folks, for another top video from Omar. This is your 2011 video compilation, my top 10 beaten games. And just this is a pretty rough year for me as far as the good games coming out. Actually, I'm going to have 3 honorable mentions. As you can see, one is playing right now. This is Dead Space Ignition for the PS3 and the PSP and Xbox 360. Pretty good puzzle game. But first off, I really hated going on this list. It was a very tough list for me to make. But let's just get started with the list and see what we got here. Like I said here, you got Dead Space Ignition, honorable mention only. I got 3 honorable mentions. Very good game. If you love Dead Space and you like puzzle games, definitely recommend check this one out. This is my second honorable mention. It's called Gravity Crash. 2D asteroid type shooter, vertical and horizontal, mostly vertical. Pretty good puzzle game about action shooter. You just destroy objects, rescue spacemen, and just traverse the environment. Pretty fun game and blow some time. My last honorable mention is called Q-Boy. It is actually a full puzzle game. As you can see, it's a block moving puzzle game. Actually, you just gotta get the block to the hole in a minimum amount of moves. Very simple, very basic, just your 3D type puzzle games to go through and waste time. If you like puzzle games, I recommend to try this one out. Now for my actual top 10 beating games 2011, number 10 on my list comes in Xmen Origins Wolverine. This is a good game to try out if you love the X-Men, especially Wolverine. And before you play the new Asylum game coming out this soon for PS5. This game actually came out for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Very action-packed, very bloody game too. Like I said, one of the bloodiest Marvel games I've ever played, or probably any superhero game I've ever played. Very bloody at all, and some cinematic moves, but it's just so much fun playing Wolverine, destroying and actually killing folks left and right. If you like that, please check it out. Number 4 on my list is Street Fighter 4 for the PS3 and Xbox 360. I'm showing you the much later upgraded version Super Street Fighter 4 edition trailer, only because I couldn't really find one for previous versions. Very hard to find, at least with good visuals. I've always been a Street Fighter fan since Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, but this one just really brought back a lot of fun ways to play the game in full 3D on a 2D platform environment. All the characters that you've seen from the past are there, along with, of course, new ones. Seth, of course, being the main villain, but Akuma, of course, is always great to play with, or be as not to fight against. But if you love Street Fighter and want to try this one out before you play 6 or 5, this is a good start for modern consoles to play on. Coming in at number 8 is the first Assassin's Creed, available on the PS3 and Xbox 360. This is actually one of my favorite Assassin's Creed characters, Altair, and also even the period itself, the Renaissance period, is one of my favorite periods in the game. Granted, being the first of the series, it does has a lot of flaws, a lot of features you cannot do, especially you cannot swim at all. But aside from that, and also the collectibles, it was only a few, but it's just they're not really even worth getting because you don't really get any reward at all. I just tell you that firsthand because I collected them all and I got nothing. Not an achievement, or nothing, just nothing. But anyways, long story short, I still love this period. The only other Assassin's Creed game I love the most, Black Flag, Edward Kenway. Besides Origins, what I like as well, but the character-wise, Altair is my all-time favorite assassin from the series. I wish they brought him back or even remade him in the new engines, as far as I could do with the new Assassin's Creed that just came out last year in 2023. But if you want to know what the beginnings of Assassin's Creed are, I recommend start with this one. Number 7 on my list is Red Faction Guerrilla. I believe this is the Red Faction 3. This one's also available on a PS3 and Xbox 360, as well as I believe on PC. The game has instructional environments similar to Battlefield, the older Battlefields. But it's very fun to do it. This is a single player game, and I think it did have a small multiplayer option, but I've never played it. The single player story is so much fun to do, going around Mars. You know, the graphics is slightly outdated, being all like orangey and pale colors. But aside from that, the gameplay is so much fun to do, and that's why it's number 7 on my list. Number 6 on my list is Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty. This is my introduction to the Ratchet and Clank series. Sorry I missed it out. I'm back on the PS2 days, but I did try it out on the PS3 before Tools of Destruction. And actually, I bought this game as well too. It was pretty cheap when I first got it. Man, I loved it. It was so much fun. A very short game. I think I beat it in less than 8 hours, less than 6, possibly. But other than that, it still has all the charm, all the puzzles. Very fun game to play if you want to start out with the Ratchet & Clank series, see how it is before playing Tools of Destruction or Ratchet & Clank Future for the PS3. And like this game probably hard to find. You couldn't get it on the PS3. I'm not sure if it's even available streaming, but if you are available to get it, please try it out. Running down now to my top 5. This one is Killzone 2 for the PlayStation 3. And I believe that's the only place you can get it at the current moment. It's not available for streaming, as far as I know. This one was supposed to be the Halo killer. Obviously it wasn't, but aside from that, it was a very fun shooter. Heavy shooter, what I mean by heavy is your character move in a heavy way, like they had about 100 pounds of weight on them. But aside from that, the cinematics, the environment, the enemy themselves are very fun to go against. Even weaponry is kind of fun to use. Very resistance kind of weaponry, but not exactly the same, of course, because that resistance is more of a alien type of weaponry. This is all more just mankind. As you can see, this is the intro that they actually showed at E3, one of the E3s back then. But this does eventually come to look like how the game looks like in itself on a PS3. I enjoyed this game a lot. It did have a multiplayer. The multiplayer was also fun. Not as good as Killzone Shadowfall, which was the other one I really platinum itself. But as you can see now, they're showing gameplay. I love the game itself. A lot of fun. Even the third one as well was also fun. That one also had multiplayer to it. But if I recall, I think 3 probably had multiplayer. 2 did not. Don't quote me on that. But those are the heavies they fight against. But your character does move kind of slowly because of the weight that's on it, that it feels like it has a lot of weight. Aside from that, try it out if you can. Now, these are my last 4 titles. 4, 3, and 2 were hard to rank in which order because I like them all kind of equally. But of course, I had to decide which ones they are. So number 4 comes in the Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I can say I really enjoyed this game a lot when it first came out. Having to use those Force powers and combat moves with the lightsaber were just so much fun back then. It just was nothing like it on a console itself, other than probably Battlefront, but that was more of a multiplayer game. Doing this as a single player, having both light and dark side kind of powers, so much fun. So and even the story itself was intriguing with the main character named Starkiller. If you want to know the background of Starkiller, who he was, what I maybe even tied in, hopefully eventually to the Star Wars cinematic universe, which hopefully will happen one day, please try this out. This is available currently on backwards compatibility on the 360, and I'm not sure if it's streaming on the PS4 and 5, or if not, try to pick it up on the PS3. This one also has a sequel, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2, which who knows, may actually hit one of my top 10s later on when I come up to that point. But again, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I don't be too much biased, but I did enjoy this game a lot. Please try it out. Coming in at number 3 is this new Super Mario Bros. Wii for the Nintendo Wii. And this is probably the only Nintendo game I have on this list, but I'm a big sucker for Mario. I've been there since the Mario Bros. 1 days back in the NES. NES is called the NES, not the NES. But just like you can say AT, not AT. But long story short, I love this game a lot. Many people can criticize it, saying it wasn't too much innovative as far as like the Mario Wonder that came out recently. But from not having 2D Mario game for such a long time, aside from the 3DS versions, this one was so much fun to play. it looked great, of course, on the TV itself. Even though if it was 480p, it still looked great itself. Try it out if you can. Any way access you can get this, I'm not sure how, but I loved it, and you will too. Coming in at number 2, which would have been my number 1 if it wasn't for the number 1 that I'll be eventually showing you in a second, which is my favorite game of all time on the PS3 and 360. But I had to put this in number 2 only because of that reason, because I played these two games on the same year. But Batman Arkham Asylum is probably one of the best Batman games ever made. And it is a Metroidvania type game in 3D. As you can see, you can traverse through different parts of the Arkham Asylum facility to take down foes and take down some of Batman's greatest villains. Even Calendar Man's in here, which surprised me a lot. And there is a secret room in this game as well that you can find a YouTube video on how to get to that secret room. But the stealth mechanics and takedowns and even the combat mechanics were just phenomenal for its time, which of course is adapted to later Batman games, and also the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor games have the same kind of combat. If you're a Batman fan or even just a beat 'em up type of fan, try this out. You will not be regret playing this game at all. Now for my number 1, and this is actually my favorite of all time on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and I can play this game over and over and over, and I still probably won't get tired of it. This is BioShock 1. Both, again, as I said, PS3 and Xbox 360. This game, I could say it's a 10 out of 10. It's just great. Adam Levine's and his crew created a world, gameplay, story that is just forever can be ingrained in your mind. Even though I don't remember much of it, but I probably played it 2-3 times that year just to get every single trophy, achievement that was available, and just to replay the story again. It was just so much fun. Having antagonists, villains, Andrew Ryan, Frank Fontaine, Big Daddy himself. It's just so much fun to go through, and even other bosses that were in there, which had a great background story and storyline to them. The mixtures of all the weaponry you can use, not just guns and explosives, but also I forgot what they were called. Now that I'm tongue twisted, but they're kind of elemental features they can use. Or I won't say magic, because they're not magic. As you can see, electricity, fire, freeze, telekinesis, different types, bees that can use. At that time, the enemies seemed like almost near unpredictable. They were predictable, but just having them rolling around in different environments that you can fight them in, it was just so much fun. And like I said again, the story was phenomenal. Even part 2, I enjoyed it. Many people didn't. I enjoyed part 2 only because he went back to the same location with a slightly different storyline, but it was a true sequel to it. So if you like BioShock 1, I recommend do try BioShock 2. BioShock 1, again, is my all-time favorite PS3, Xbox 360 game of all time. So if you enjoyed this video, please check out my next one, hopefully coming soon. I'm not sure how soon, but that'll be my 2012 top 10 games that I've beaten. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Again, this is Omar, and thank you all for watching.